He only lost his primary a week ago, but Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie is already plotting his political comeback. The Republican says he has filed paperwork for a 2028 run so that he can keep fundraising, although it's not clear if he'll be running for the House or maybe even higher office.
Are you considering a run for president in 2028?
I will not rule out anything, and right now I'm not going to rule in anything.
But Massie is among a growing list of Republicans ousted as part of the president's revenge tour against lawmakers who've dared publicly break with him. But as Trump tries to stifle dissent, my next guest is urging his former Republican colleagues to stand up to the president. Former Republican Senator of Tennessee, Lamar Alexander, joins me, author of the new book, The Education of a Senator, From JFK to Trump. It's good to see you, Senator. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for inviting me.
Well, just this morning, the president reposted an AI-generated image of himself. He's sitting on a rhinoceros, on a rhino, armed with a gun, and the caption reads, "No rhinos, Republicans in name only." When you look at the way the president has gone after Cornyn, Cassidy, Tillis, so forth, do you have fears about where your party is headed?
Well, I don't think it makes much sense for the president to keep purging Republicans who support him. I mean, if he doesn't want Collins and Tillis and Cornyn, and if he's has differences with McConnell and Murkowski and Rand Paul, pretty soon you're down in the mid-40s in terms of support. So it's hard to see how he gets anything passed with that kind of behavior.
I don't know if you just heard our conversation, but today in Texas, as you know, Republican voters are choosing between two Senate candidates who represent very different directions for the GOP. And a lot of your former colleagues were very upset that the president chose to endorse Ken Paxton over John Cornyn. What impact do you think it will have? What do you think is going to happen tonight?
I hope Cornyn wins. I mean, I know him well. He's conservative. He's respected. He's a leader. He solves problems. He gets things done. He supports Trump 99% of the time. So it's hard for me to see why the president wouldn't support him. I can't predict what Texas will do, but I hope Cornyn wins.
In your new memoir, you said the biggest disappointment of Trump's second term was not what Trump did, but what the Senate majority did not do. What are you talking about? Give us an example of something that's happening today.
Well, for example, in the first term of Trump, he tried to use $3.6 billion of money that we had appropriated for military barracks and schools on the border wall. And we said, Mr. President, you can't do that. There were at least 22 of us by my count who did that. 12 of us voted against it. And the court said it was unconstitutional. I haven't seen much of that until lately among the Republicans in the Senate. I'd like to see him pay more attention to Senator Wicker on what to do about Iran, on Senator Paul on what to do about tariffs, on Senator McConnell on what to do about Ukraine. I think he'd benefit from that advice.
And when you talk about January 6th, folks potentially getting money from what critics say is essentially a slush fund, taxpayer money going to convicted criminals who may have been pardoned by President Trump, would you expect that not to happen? Do you think enough Republicans will stand up to him?
Well, I surely hope so. I mean, in the first place, the whole fund is fishy. Trump sues Trump. Trump settles with Trump. Trump takes taxpayer money and gives it to friends of Trump. Now, if he adds to that, giving it to the the mob that hurt 140 Capitol police officers, that makes it even worse. So I would hope that the Congress would stop that.
You urge Republicans to stand up to Trump, but everyone sees what happens to those who do. We've seen him have this pretty much unblemished record in his what's called his retribution campaign. So how do you stand up against the most unconventional president we've ever seen, who will be gone in 2 years, but you may be gone in a matter of months?
Well, if you're gone, that's not the worst thing that can happen. I worked with Donald Trump for 4 years. He once told me, everybody in Tennessee loves me except you, Lamar. But we worked well together. But the reason was I never criticized him personally. I showed respect for the office. He didn't criticize me personally either. I didn't persuade him of much, but we did get the Great American Outdoors Act done. We did a number of other things. On tariffs, I didn't do very well. But I still think that if you're in the Senate, it's hard to get there. It's hard to stay there. And while you're there, you might as well try to accomplish something for the country. You don't swear an oath to the president. You swear it to the Constitution. That's your job.
Not a whole lot seems to be getting done, and you can see the frustration of the American people in the polls. They don't like the war. They don't like the way he's handling the economy. They don't like the ballroom. I could go on and on and on. And I guess the question is this, though, anywhere near the Donald Trump who you dealt with in his first term?
Well, he's got a couple of more years. He could make a lot of difference. For example, I heard the other day Senator Daines, Senator King, Republican, independent, are about to introduce the the Great American Outdoors Act with 60 co-sponsors. That was a big Trump success. I'd like to see him take credit for the vaccine that researchers won the Nobel Prize for in his first term, instead of diminishing it or letting his secretary diminish it. I'd like to see him take on the tough issues of immigration. He secured the border. Give him credit for that. Now, what do we do about the 12 million people who are here legally but who haven't committed any crimes? We had a bill, and first lunch I had with him after he was elected in 2017, I suggested that he could make that his legacy. And he said, I'd very much like to do that. Somebody objected, and he went in another direction. He's still got time to solve that problem.
Do you have any real expectation that he will?
I always have hopes. Anyone who is a president of the United States has a tremendous opportunity. And when you go to bed at night, I've not been president, but I know as a senator, I woke up every day thinking I might do something good for my state or country. I went to bed most nights thinking I had. I would hope our presidents would approach each day the same way.
Let me ask you finally, Senator, there was a huge opportunity for Republicans with the election because Republicans control all three: White House, Senate, House. Have they squandered that opportunity?
Well, it's not going to get easier to get anything done if you keep purging Republican senators who agree with you 99% of the time. That doesn't sound to me like a president who's interested in accomplishing things. The only reason to be in politics is not to make a speech, is to get a result. And there's time, even in the last 7 months, to get more results in this congressional term.
The book is The Education of a Senator, and argues in part, correct me if I'm wrong, that there are some senators right now who can maybe use a little educating. Maybe they'll read the book. Former Senator Lamar Alexander. By the way, great cover photo. Thanks so much. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks very much.